In today's NBA landscape, scoring has reached historic heights, and a noticeable decline in defensive intensity is evident when observing games night after night in 2024. The minimal defensive effort is particularly pronounced during the NBA All-Star games, where the lack of competitiveness and defensive prowess is alarming. Over the past 5 years, the decline in defensive play during these showcase events is a glaring disservice to the essence of basketball. This trend can be attributed to the reluctance of superstar players to risk embarrassment by their peers, and the fear of becoming viral sensations on social media for being dunked on or crossed up. The emergence of the social media era has fundamentally altered the dynamic of the NBA All-Star Game. Compared to just a decade ago, when there was at least some attempt at defense, even in the Rising Stars game and the main All-Star game itself, the allure of social media highlights going viral in an instant has deterred players from displaying their skills with the same level of aggression and competitiveness. This reluctance is evident even in events like the NBA dunk contest, which used to be a highly anticipated spectacle. Nowadays, even mid-tier all-star players are hesitant to participate in fear of potential embarrassment. Looking back to 1988, where 3 Hall of Famers and all-star players including Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, and Clyde Drexler competed in the dunk contest, the contrast with recent years is stark. Since then, there has been a significant decline in all-star participation in the dunk contest, with only a few notable exceptions. LeBron James' decision not to participate in the dunk contest, despite promising to do so on national television in 2009 and 2010, was a significant disappointment for fans. Moreover, the NBA All-Star Game itself has transformed from a semi-competitive exhibition to resembling the worst pickup basketball game imaginable. Overall, the decline in defensive effort and competitive spirit during NBA All-Star events is a reflection of the changing dynamics influenced by social media and the reluctance of superstar players to take risks on the court. Consider the era of the 2020s in the NBA. The astonishingly high scores teams are putting up seem reminiscent of a video game where the sliders are maxed out to 1,000 for scoring and defense is set to 0. For instance, in 2023, we witnessed a staggering scoreline of 184 to 175, while in 2002, both teams surpassed 160 points. The pinnacle came in 2024, when the Eastern Conference amassed an incredible 211 points. These players are undoubtedly the most skilled and talented in the world, which begs the question, why are they allowing such astronomical scores in an All-Star game? Examining the stats over the past 5 years of the 2020s decade, the winning team in the All-Star game averaged 177 points per game. In contrast, the averages were 134.5 in the 2000s and 132 in the 90s, reflecting different eras of the All-Star game. Each era of the All-Star game serves as a microcosm of the sport at the time. In 2024, the players effortlessly scoring 40, 50, or even 70 points, the All-Star game reflects the highest scoring nature of the regular season. This trend is evident when comparing historical All-Star game stats. From 1951 to 1988, only Michael Jordan and Wilt Chamberlain surpassed 40 points, whereas in the past decade, 8 different players have achieved this feat. Additionally, in the last 3 All-Star games alone, at least one player has scored 50 points. While it's understood that the All-Star game is an exhibition, is it unreasonable to expect some semblance of defense? Not at the intensity of a Finals Game 7, but enough to provide entertainment for the fans. Unfortunately, the appreciation for fans seems to be waning among superstar players, as evidenced by the prevalence of load management strategies over the past decade. Even with the recent implementation of the 65-game rule, which faced opposition primarily from prominent American-born players like Tyrese Halliburton, Joel Embiid, Draymond Green, and Jaylen Brown, who advocate for its elimination, the sentiment among players towards back-to-back games remains divided. I'm unsure if there's a distinct difference in mindset between foreign and American players regarding this rule, but it's notable that a significant portion of the players who express discontent about the rule are American, while those who have no opinion on the rule are from overseas. As I've emphasized in previous videos, it's a superstar's duty, when healthy, to participate in as many games as possible. It's understandable if a player is sidelined due to a serious injury, like a broken ankle or knee, but there's a stark contrast between injuries and minor discomfort. Many star players seem to fall into the latter category, where they're not injured but rather slightly banged up. When we look back at past eras, even just 15 or 20 years ago, players often assert that the league was more physically demanding, and they prided themselves on playing nearly every game of the season, often all 82 games. Conversely, some current NBA players seem to be advocating for reducing the number of games, which seems to validate the claims of the old school players. For instance, John Stockton, renowned for his durability, exemplifies this ethos. Despite not being the most naturally talented or skilled point guard, Stockton consistently suited up night after night, regardless of injury or discomfort. Even in his later years, he maintained this commitment, playing every game from age 37 to 41 without missing a single game, averaging 30 minutes per game as a starter, demonstrating a remarkable level of dedication and resilience. When current NBA players in their early to mid-20s express dissatisfaction with an 82-game schedule, it's a stark contrast to someone like John Stockton, who epitomized toughness and durability throughout his career. Stockton never once complained about playing games or logging heavy minutes, even well into his prime and beyond. A remarkable testament to his durability is exemplified by a fascinating stat. Both Michael Jordan and John Stockton in their final NBA season at age 40 played in all 82 games. Remarkably, before 2003, no player at age 40 had ever achieved this feat, and to this day, no one has replicated it. Now, circling back to the modern NBA All-Star Weekend, while it may not be the most pressing issue in the league, it remains significant. Comparing past All-Star games from 2001, 1998, 1993, and even 1987 reveals a stark contrast in defensive intensity. Defense, reminiscent of a regular season game's competitiveness, was notably present in those older All-Star games, a far cry from today's often lackluster defensive displays. It's an intriguing exercise to watch those vintage All-Star games and observe the high level of defensive engagement, especially when juxtaposed with contemporary NBA matchups featuring teams known for their defensive shortcomings. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, I'll see you.